Tate Schmidt re-entering at left back, the first teamer in the fold. And then you look up front as well, Matteo Di Morelli is back up there. It's a fearsome front three. Gabe Siegel, the headliner, a first-team player who scored 5 goals in 6 MLS Next Pro appearances for Kenny Bundy's bunch. This is a formidable side as they look to notch their second victory in 3 meetings with St. Louis this year. Well, for Kenny Bundy, continuing that run of form will be key. He will have his work cut out for him, though. You look at Bobby Murphy's squad, considerable firepower. They know they need a result tonight. They've trotted out 5 changes from last week's 3-2 defeat against Ventura County, and 2 first-teamers entering the fold. A familiar face in Michael Wenzel. The lack of an ability to suffer vis-a-vis their earlier performances. And we are finally underway from SaberCat Stadium in Houston. They're only as far as Schmidt. And comes to Silla. This is Siegel. May have taken a touch on the way. And here he is again. Looking forward to Joyner, who is the danger man. Dimitra in space. Still Dimitra! Best effort so far for St. Louis, and it was not far off. Well, this is the first proper chance of the match for St. Louis, and it's off the interplay between Dimitra and Joyner, the 2 wingers. Terrific link-up, and Dimitra nearly scored a lovely individual goal. Rode the challenge well, and just was unable to pick out that bottom right. But in just his second start with St. Louis, he is making things happen as they've won their first corner of the night. It is Makai Joyner, the mid-season rising star in MLS Next Pro, standing over this in-swinger. Comes to the back stick, and routine in the end for Valdez. He was looking long for Di Morelli. Hello, Shona Armstrong. Gonzalez and Schmidt in the vicinity. Gonzalez has a hit and clattering it right into the wall. He does win his side a corner, though. Is there something brewing late here for the Orange Crush? Well, it was all smoke screen at the beginning. And you saw Gonzalez trying to get it up and down towards that top right corner. Just unable to pick it out. Well, we received word that the McKenna foul was not actually cautioned, so take away the yellow. Cross comes in off the post. Gabe Siegel getting his dome to it. The outswinger here. Siegel with terrific movement in the box, and he would have thought that was destined for the bottom left. Falls to Silla, and this is well done. And that will definitely get McKenna in the book. No doubt about it. Now 3 St. Louis defenders have been cautioned. Well, a good sign of how dangerous you are as a winger is how many times you get kicked. And Usman Silla has been clattered on a number of occasions, this being the most recent of them. Another dangerous run. He just picks it up on the half turn, and he's got such quality technique. The ball magnetized to his boots. And it's a late challenge from McKenna that puts his name in the book this time around. There's no question whether that one will be rescinded, because it won't. Perhaps time for one final foray towards goal. It's Siegel and Gonzalez. Siegel has a hit, and oh, what a strike! An unbelievable free kick from Siegel, and Houston's in front. This is astonishing. Perfect dip to it, bounces and nestles in the bottom left. It's where he aimed the earlier header. He makes no mistake that time from well. Silla. Unable to keep it in play, and that is where we end our first half. Set to get back underway here from Houston. Dynamo Dos looking to notch their 5th win in the last 7. St. Louis looking to avoid their 4th consecutive defeat. They like to control the match, lull teams into a sense of security, and then break them down. There's been none of that tonight. Silla has provided no sense of security for the opposition, and he's brought down once again here. He has been kicked on a number of occasions, and another yellow card coming courtesy of one of his marauding runs forward.
A yellow card caution has been issued by the referee to St. Louis City, number 2, to number 56, Ryan.
Well, Ryan Becher is the man booked here.
50.
You see just the late challenge and gets all of his legs and none on the ball. That has been a common theme with runs forward from Usman Silla, who, despite the lack of clear-cut chances, has been a menace going forward. He has looked the part of the National Player of the Year in college soccer. This comes through to Gonzalez in space. Looking to cut it across, and there were just no orange shirts to greet it. Siegel was lingering, but the pass came a beat late. Well, what a cross this was. So much ferocity. Dimorelli picking out Gonzalez well, and he crosses this just a beat late. Beyond the reach of Siegel. If he had played it maybe a couple touches earlier, he could have picked out a return ball. Either way, danger continuing to mount for Houston the moment they win it back. So Becher was booked earlier. He's the 5th St. Louis City man booked. All 5 of them on the pitch. 3 of them have been booked due to challenges against Usman Silla. It tells you his impact tonight. And here he is again, venturing into the box. Usman Silla in space, and this time bashing it off of the legs of Kinsner. Silla, clever run, he's bundled over. Referee's unmoved. And now Joyner in some space. McSorley has a runner on the far side. Didn't see him in time. Locker. And still Carson Locker. And only as far as Kijima. Another cross in, it falls for Joyner. It's off the crossbar, still loose, and Valdez able to claim. Well, great effort here, first time from Joyner, who just hits this on the volley and narrowly missing that top left. The first proper heart and throat moment for Dynamo Dos, and they nearly paid the price. Now Siegel's bundled over, and Benitez the culprit. And another yellow about to be shown. Meanwhile, Jordi Bourbano joined from El Nacional in Ecuador this year. This is a long throw. It came to Siegel briefly. Cleared only as far as Tate Schmidt. A loose pass this time around. And one back by Dugan. McSorley. And the return ball is not quite there. When you factor in the closeness of the Western Conference, this result cannot be understated if it holds. Houston would be within 9 points of St. Louis with a win tonight. And it would be 8 places separating them. That tells you all you really need to know about how tight the West is. Just 5 points separate St. Louis from the 8th spot. Kijima playing it forward. It's still loose for Kijima, and there's the leveler. Jose Kijima brings St. Louis on a level playing field. And what a clinical finish it was.
St. Louis, number 85.
They were beginning to mount pressure, and the Houston backline cracked. Kijima in his first Next Pro start in a few months' time, paying major dividends. You see him pick it up here, and he just roams forward. Links well with Locker, There is the full-time whistle. Jose Kijima strikes, salvaging a point for St. Louis, and sends us to penalties with an extra point in the standings on the line. Wenzel against Valdez to begin the shootout. And Wenzel's off the crossbar. Had Valdez beaten, but couldn't place it properly for his first miss of the year. Well, he did everything right except place it. Got underneath it a touch and off the underside of the bar to keep it out. And Houston with an opportunity to secure an early advantage. Gabe Siegel, the man who scored their lone goal tonight, heading to the spot. He buried his only spot kick in the North Texas shootout in late April. He now stands over this here, looking to give Houston an early advantage. Against Bishop, and drives it home. Bishop guesses the right way. Siegel gives it enough altitude to put it in the back of the net. You see him lift this just enough. It's not a perfect penalty, but it does the job. Bishop doesn't reach nearly high enough for it. Early advantage, Dynamo Dos. As Makai Joyner will stroll to the penalty spot, where he has been a mainstay this year. He's their go-to penalty taker. He's made all 4 attempts, both in open play and shootouts. A solid performance tonight, some final third frustration. Trying to pull St. Louis's first, and he does. Valdez guessing properly. Joyner with just enough placement. And there is St. Louis on the board in the shootout. He goes with his left foot here. Doesn't opt for power, but the placement is perfect into the side netting on the right side. No real chance for Xavier Valdez. And that will present Diego Gonzalez with an opportunity at the spot, where he is 3 of 4 this season. Squaring off against Bishop, who is very green in these situations and driven well into the bottom left. Perfect start for Houston, 2 of 2. Gonzalez unflappable. Clearly knew where he was going to put it beforehand and just strokes it into the bottom left. And the advantage retained by Houston as Gabriel Mikina will take his attempt at things. Mikina spent the entire match at center back tonight. Has been a mainstay in the lineup. One of his first forays into penalties. And he finishes. Goes right down the middle, but puts enough on it. And Valdez never really guesses properly. Just drives his foot behind this. Valdez went low. He went high. Well placed. And St. Louis still hanging around in the shootout. As Sebastian Rodriguez gets his first look at things. A first-teamer at just 16 years of age on a homegrown contract that he signed this past January. He stands over this now. And just beyond the reach of Bishop. It was not the best penalty in the world by any means, but just outwitting the 18-year-old between the sticks. There was no ferocity behind this, and Bishop guessed the right way, but it splits his hands and doing just enough to make it perfect for Houston. Now it is the regulation hero, Jose Kijima, who's making his first MLS Next Pro app since late May. Can he keep St. Louis afloat? And it's saved! Xavier Valdez denies him, and Houston can wrap it up with 1 kick of the boot. He was the regulation hero, denied here in the penalty shootout. Valdez sees it all the way, and now Tate Schmidt can wrap it up if he so chooses. The 27-year-old who has not featured in a penalty shootout all year for the Dynamo organization. He can wrap up the extra point for the Orange Crush right here. Schmidt against Bishop for all the marbles. And he drives it underneath him. Just beyond the outstretched boot. Dynamo does secure the additional point. And Houston comes away with 2 points. A clinical finish. Bishop just diving out of the reach.